Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Making good on my intentions to get caught up over the summer. This is Scott's Super XL. He would not recognize it looking at it compared to what it was when he sent it to me. Saw had piston damage and was just overall in pretty rough cosmetic conditions. So this is the last saw that I accepted for paint work, and that was quite some time ago. So it's nice to get this thing done. We're ready to give it a test fire. The clear coat's been in place for a little over a week now. I've had most of the saw assembled since the day after I painted it, or clear coated it. I like to, within 48 hours, preferably within 24, but within 48 for sure, get everything fastened where there's going to be a good clamping force, because I find the clear is still just soft enough you can get these screws to hold without ripping chunks of paint out. Not always, but every once in a while that'll happen, and it's real freaking irritating, you can imagine. But I don't know how well it's going to show up in the video. This is a lower sheen finish. Scott really wanted it to look as close to what it would have back in the day. So the real high gloss, the glamour clear that I like to use, I did not use. I bought U.S. Industry Satin. To be honest, I'm disappointed. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but I just love that gloss look, and it's real close. This is a new old stock XL12. I'm going to do a video on that when I'm done with this. Again, I don't know if the video will pick it up, but there's just a smidge more gloss in this paint than there is from the clear coat that I put on there. It's pretty damn close, though. In fact, these two saws would look really bitchin' displayed together, wouldn't they? Anyway, based on the carburetor information, I believe this to be a 1979 saw. If I'm remembering my conversation with Scott correctly, this was his dad's saw back in the day. And that's part of why so much time went into getting it back in running condition, is because of the sentimental value, which I 100% get. So again, when I paint one of these, it is stripped down. I don't mask anything that I can remove. If I'm going to go to the trouble, I'm going to do it as close to right, or what I consider to be right, as possible. So literally, one of these things gets blowed out into parts. Like the throttle handle is completely stripped. I don't mask little parts like that. They come off. Everything comes off if I don't want it painted. So this thing is very clean inside and out, as clean as it would have been on the day it left Homelite's assembly line. So yeah, ended up with a lightly used cylinder, new piston, new rod and wrist pin bearings. The crankshaft bearings were good and tight, so I left them alone. Starter needed rebuilt with new shields. Rope. Spring was good. Let's see. Obviously, fuel line. I went ahead and lined the tank with red coat. There's no indication that it ever leaked, but I like to have that red coat liner in there to help protect the new paint, just in case. And I also, when I'm not using them, I like to leave the cap cracked so that it cannot build any pressure. It's only been a few saws that I've had that happen, but I can get a bubble in the seam on the front of the tank. Every once in a while I see that happen, which means that check valve is working really good, but when it builds up pressure on a super hot day like today is not super hot here, it's only 91 or 92, but in a hot garage, that could easily be 120, no problem. So anyway, I like to leave the cap cracked. But red coated the tank, fuel line, filter, of course, are all new. Carb's been completely gone through. What else? The muffler is an OEM muffler. What was on there was in pretty rough shape, the cap was, so I replaced the cap and just painted this up. Came out pretty nice, and the heat will seat it. Put new clutch shoes on, a new clutch drum with the rim sprocket, because that is just the way to go. New spark plug. I think I've yammered long enough. Let's try starting it. I literally have not run this since it's been assembled. I just gassed it up before the video. So, you guys are along for the ride. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I can't tell if she's too rich or what's going on. I know it's burning off assembly oil. Oh, that's some messy stuff. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more, excuse me, video time. But I'm still a little concerned about the carburetor. Rest of the saw I'm not concerned about one little bit. She's nice and warmed up, not hot though. You notice me holding my hand, I was feeling the exhaust. You get a sense eventually for when one of these is running hot, when they aren't. This one's just doing what it should do. Got a nice low idle. That idle speed screw is nice and stiff in there. It's not going to back off, but I may have to chase those threads a little bit because I don't want to ding the paint trying to adjust the idle. But anyway, the only thing I didn't do in the carb, because I don't unless I have a reason to, is the high-speed nozzle check valve assembly. Because I haven't been able to get this thing to a smooth rev with the low side yet, consistently enough for my liking, I'm suspicious of that. It may not be any good, but I'm going to let this thing idle on the bench quite a bit more, and then I'll investigate that further. But I'm completely convinced this saw is in great shape. I just have potentially a little bit more to do in the carb, and then after nearly 3 years sitting on the shelf because paint has been so hard to get done, Scott, we're close, man. We're really close. I will be in touch with you soon about getting this saw headed back your way.